Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this public hearing this evening. Mr. Jones, roll call, please.
Yeah, Mrs. Becker?
Present.
Mr. Wong?
Nope.
Attendance pending. Okay. Mr. Welch?
Here.
Very good.
Join us to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have one piece of business this evening, a public hearing. So at this time, I declare open the public hearing for case number ZMA 09-20. Mr. Dawson, will you give us the staff presentation?
Thank you, Mrs. Becker. Begin my presentation with the site aerial. The site's highlighted in red. Within the vicinity of the site. The site's located along the north side of Dimmick Road, east of the railroad, and approximately 480 feet north of Jerry Drive. Here we can see an existing conditions plat. Site consists of 19.87 acres. Site's characterized as a ridge, which slopes from south to north, and is currently heavily vegetated. We have a few ground view pictures of the site. It's along Dimmick Road with a view to the west, along the frontage. A view to the northwest, and a view to the north. The current zoning of the site is A1 Agricultural District with the surrounding R1A Suburban Residence District. The subject site is consistent with the intent and purpose of the Chester Township Land Use Plan. It's recommended estate single-family land use classification by achieving compatibility with the surrounding single-family lots in the R1A Suburban Residence District. The site's located along a major road corridor, and the area of the site offers the opportunity for lot sizes that are consistent with the recommended and surrounding density of the 1 to 2 dwelling units per acre and the enjoyment of significant open space to future residents of the site. The proposed preliminary development plan is also consistent with the intent and purpose of the land use plan's development characteristics by maintaining the recommended density and larger areas of common open space. However, the lots will slightly vary from the surrounding R1A development standards by proposing a mix of lot sizes from 12 to 16,000 square feet. Additionally, a 10-foot reduction in the front yard and a 5-foot reduction in the side and rear yards due to the hardships within the topography of the site. Finally, the applicant is proposing unique architectural design characteristics with the availability of the home builder's custom plans. A traffic impact study has been submitted to the county engineer's office, but is still under review at this time. The county's indicated the approval of the traffic impact study will require further coordination at the final development plan stage to determine right-of-way dedications and access management requirements of any road improvements along Dimmick Road. Upon initial review, a geotechnical report was required. However, the county engineer did indicate major concerns, which involved the steep slopes around the surrounding ravines and the effects that the development would have on those slopes. This also included basement design placed on fill greater than 4 feet, rear yard setbacks as the site was proposed, and an aerial storm pipe outlet extending over the creek to the detention area. Without a full review of the geotechnical report, the County Planning Commission recommended denial on September 8th, and the Zoning Commission heard the case on September 21st. The applicant provided a revised, as you can see here, a revised storm pipe location and stated they were confident they would meet all county engineer concerns in regard to the geotechnical report at that time. The zoning commission considered the development to be beneficial to the township and recommended approval with conditions addressing all county's concerns, which at that time would have limited the density, yard requirements, and restrictions on future additions and/or accessory buildings at this preliminary and then also at the final development plan stage, once that full review of the geotechnical study was completed. The county engineer conducted a full review last week prior to this meeting and stated the revisions they received addressed those concerns pertaining to the slope stability and the location of the cul-de-sacs with the revised rear setbacks for lots 6 through 20 and lots 33 through 37. Therefore, I have revised the draft resolution, section 1, which will permit the proposed density of 40 lots as illustrated with the building restriction lines. And an additional section 2 was added to keep the requirement for further evaluation of the geotechnical report if any additions or accessory buildings or structures that may be proposed outside of those building restriction lines by future homeowners. However, it is staff's hope that the applicant would analyze and determine which lots would not be capable of those further improvements and restrict them as such in the HOA declaration at the final development plan stage. The applicant has illustrated an emergency access road and cross-access easement extending to the church's property, drive aisle, and extending to the public right-of-way. However, the fire department requires a permanent secondary access road which can support all fire vehicles for developments over 30 dwellings. Therefore, the final development plan will need to reflect the fire department's requirements. Additionally, as shown on the preliminary landscape plan, the applicant is utilizing the natural features and maintaining large tracts of the existing mature tree line, as well as providing adequate street trees along the public frontage and internal roadways. Staff has advised the applicant that the screening of lots 1 and 40 along the east property line would be beneficial to marketing of those lots, but will not be required. Additionally, sign type locations were not provided at this preliminary stage. Therefore, consideration should be given at the final development plan stage, subject to Article 11 of the Township Resolution. The applicant will also need to provide that draft declaration establishing the homeowners association and the maintenance responsibilities. Finally, the applicant has provided a number of renderings of the model homes. I'll just briefly scan through these and defer to the applicant to speak on these models. The Westchester Township Board of Trustees are to approve with modifications, or deny the submitted zoning map amendment and preliminary development plan. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So you mentioned a few of the properties wouldn't be able to have outbuildings like sheds and that sort of thing. Do pools and patios come under that restriction as well for certain number of the homes?
Well, if I can go back to the site plan. Oops. That was a dead card here. So the red lines highlight the extent of the rear yards on those lots that may be restricted. The condition would state that they would require further evaluation. So the developer would turn the development over to the HOA. Any future homeowner then that would, at that time, would want to construct an addition or accessory structure. That could include a patio or a pool or anything. We just like the engineers to reevaluate that to make sure that we can permit that.
We don't want any pools sliding down the ridge.
Correct. Yeah.
Good
And
thinking.
it's our hope that once we get to the final development plan stage, that the developer will work out where that's feasible and where it's not, and maybe include that restriction in their declaration.
So the county engineer rejected the aerial piping the first time.
Correct.
And they approved it this last meeting, this week, or late last week you mentioned. What
Yeah.
was the difference in the piping structure?
So no difference in the structure, just the location of it. So as
Okay.
you can see on this design, they were extending it down the ravine to the detention on the north side, which would have been an aerial pipe located over the creek. The engineers had some concern with that design, and so the applicant, in the meantime, is, before we went to the zoning commission, actually, had to revise that plan then to be located below ground.
Okay.
Yeah, with this new location.
Any questions, Mr. Welch?
I do not have any questions at this point.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Dawson.
You're welcome.
Did the applicant wish to approach the board?
I'll make my comments brief.
If you wouldn't mind approaching the dais and give us your name and address for the record.
Do you want to speak on the homes?
Oh, wherever you're supposed to.
Yeah, do you want to speak on the homes, or do you want to speak on the site plan?
I'll just give a brief synopsis.
Okay. Okay. You're all set.
Thank you. My name is Neil Hughes, and I am the managing member of Doyle Hughes Development Company. And I appreciate you all having the special arrangements for us this evening. It's
What was
greatly
your address?
appreciated.
Could you give us your address, please?
Oh, yes, I'm at 2036 Mendenhall Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30341.
Wonderful.
And we have been working with the pastor and the board at Grace Baptist Church in Mason, and they have joined these two churches together, and they're looking at building a bigger facility. So we're currently under contract to purchase this property, and we're negotiating for another piece that they own. We're very excited about it. We're really thrilled with the support we've had and the guidance from staff. I spoke with Tim early on and got a good feel for the minimum lot sizes and some of the other challenges that we might have faced, and we based our design criteria, which was very helpful for us. It allowed us to kind of have a pathway with what made the most sense. And the builder will be my partner, Justin Doyle Homes. And so he's got a series of really beautiful farmhouse-styled plans. Most of the plans are designed with masters down, so we can kind of appeal to both demographics, the empty nesters and then the millennial buyers as well. So we're very excited about it, and we're looking forward to breaking ground. There's a great demand for homes here in Chester Township, and we're hoping to provide some good housing stock and some good values. We've reached out to the community around us, as we like to do, and got a lot of good feedback from them. They seem to be very excited about it. We're very careful to set up buffers and non-disturb areas adjacent to them, so we think we've addressed those issues. And as Tim had said, we sat down with Butler County over an extended period and got them signing off on all of the issues that they had. So we're ready to go, biting at the chop.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Quick question. The minimum of 50% high-quality building materials, was that addressed?
Yes,
Was it? Okay.
yeah.
And then what's the price point of these homes?
We think we're going to be about the mid-400s for the very bare bones, smaller ranch-type homes. And then with Justin, the sky's the limit. There's some absolutely stunning lots up on the top of those ridges. So we suspect that most of the homes will be in the series, the farmhouse series. But if somebody comes back and wants something, you know, spectacular, they have the capability to do that. They have their in-house architects and all that kind of stuff. So, but if I was guessing, I would say we'll probably average in the mid to high fives. But we've been surprised a number of times where it ends up elevating quite higher than that.
I noticed that from the photographs, it looked like you had some metal roofs
Yes,
on there. Is that something you plan to incorporate into this area?
absolutely.
Is that a 50-year roof?
Typically, that's how they call, of course, they call shingle roofs 25-year roofs. I haven't had one last 25 years yet, but yeah, they typically call them a 50-year roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that farmhouse, you know, it's funny, when I was looking at the pictures, I was thinking what's old is new again.
That's what
You
I
have
thought too,
beautiful
when I saw it.
farmhouses all around central Ohio, and now the national trend is taking from what has been built here for 200 years, so it's an interesting evolution that we're seeing. Awesome.
Is there, obviously, the HOA guidelines and covenants have to be written at this point. Is there any possibility, I've been looking into the Tesla solar system roof, and it basically, I don't know how long it takes for a return on investment on the thing, but I would, it's actually the roof system. It's not the solar panels that fit on and bolt in. It's a total roof system. And I'm just curious if developers like yourself are looking at these kinds of possibilities for building in the near future.
I haven't specifically, because I'm focused more on the horizontal as opposed to the vertical. Although I've looked at doing larger mixed-use communities where we would have solar panels and provide the power for the street lights and things of that nature. So I think there's just a push in that direction. Most of the builders I know now are, if at the very least, having the option for the electrical plug-ins for the electrical cars in the garage. That's coming close to a standard feature with most houses today, you know, especially over $500,000. So it's an interesting evolution.
Yeah.
We build Justin builds almost exclusively LEED certified, so all the disciplines that are required for that approval are going into all the homes. But I've read about the Tesla roofs, I just don't know anything about it. And a lot of the challenges you have with new technology is, I don't know if you remember, the original calculators were like $1,100, and now you can buy them for 50 cents. And I think what happens a lot of times with new technology like that is, to put a roof on today, it might be $50,000, and once they start making tens of thousands of them, it may be a $5,000 option.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it's just being driven by, you know, the sheer volume of it.
Yeah.
But there are a ton of people in this world that would love to be off the grid, and that kind of technology would help. The main thing that we see in the studies I've looked at is the battery storage facility. That once Tesla and those guys figure out how to economically store the gathered electricity, where you can literally get off the grid, then that's going to be the game changer. And then I read a report that that's going to be taxed like crazy, because if you take everybody off the grid, the power companies have no money, and they can't afford to keep the infrastructure up. So it's a catch-22. So it'll be interesting to see how it all evolves out.
Yeah, well, you're right about the cost. You can go to Tesla.com and you can actually go and price it. They just ask for your average electric bill and your location. And I just put a roof on my house in 2017, and this came back at $52,000 for the roof, and then I needed 3 battery packs in the garage, which was another $25,000. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just have to wait till we get more of these in production so that price comes down.
Well, and the problem with the batteries, it's like the electric cars that people will think about. They're like your LED batteries for your home use. They end up losing their power like your phone. And if you're paying $25,000, that's not something you're going to go to CVS and buy another one.
Yeah.
Well,
They're rechargeable, of course.
a little bit out of my field of expertise, but it's going to be a fascinating, see how it all evolves.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you,
Very
Mr.
good.
Hughes.
Thank you.
So we'll come to the citizens' comments part of this public hearing. If there's anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of this project as a proponent, feel free to address us here at the podium. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Okay, is there anyone here that wanted to speak against this project as an opponent? Oh, seeing that.
I can speak in favor of the project.
Good, join us. Give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Steve Kunkel, and I'm on staff at Grace Baptist Church, which is partnered with Westchester Baptist. Been working with Neil and Justin in regard to that. I'm very familiar with the church situation.
Could you give us your address?
My address?
Yeah.
444 Lakeshore Drive, Lebanon, Ohio 45036. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And so anyway, we've been working with them in regard to this purchase and development. We're excited about it. It's a great opportunity for that area and everything, and a great company to work with, and know them personally, vouch for them, and just wanted to say, just give a plug for them.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to bring us any neutral information on this project? Seeing none. Anyone else? Last chance? Great. Mr. Dawson, will you read the resolution for us, please?
This is Resolution 40-2020, approving a zoning map amendment from preliminary development plan for case ZMA 09-20, West Ridge. Be it resolved that on the basis of the above actions and findings, the Westchester Township Board of Trustees does hereby concur with the Westchester Township Zoning Commission and does hereby approve the zoning map amendment from A1 Agricultural District to RPUD Residential Plan Unit Development District and preliminary development plan, and this plan has 16 conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. And we'll vote on this in our next regular meeting. At this time, I declare the public hearing for case number ZMA 09-2020 closed. Mr. Welch, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I'll second. And I'll ask for a roll call slowly.
Mrs. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We are adjourned.
All right. So, yeah, no problem. Move on to final development plan.
Smells like paint in here.
It does, doesn't it?
And then we'll